Hey everybody, it is Bill with Franklin Loan Center, and it is the first Wednesday of 2023. I wish everyone a happy new year. Hope everyone's off to a good start. Here, just a whopping couple of days in. Hey, earlier today, just literally 11 o'clock Pacific time, the Fed released their meeting minutes from last month's meeting on January 12th, I think, or I'm sorry, on December 12th. And this happens every time there's the Fed meeting, and then several weeks later, here comes the meeting minutes, and it's kind of like obviously the official record. These are just like regular meeting minutes, and no big surprises in this, other than the Fed was quick to announce that they don't see any Fed loosening or actually a drop in the Fed funds rate anytime in 2023. Which is like, okay, big surprise there. They're still talking about continuing to increase. Let's not start talking about decreasing. And it just brings up an interesting thought in my mind. I don't know. I mean, it just seems to me that the Fed, so this is by far the most transparent a Fed has ever been. You go back to the Greenspan days, they didn't say anything. They just come in and make an announcement, shock everybody with an increase in interest rates, and the market would go crazy. And now we've got this real transparency from the Fed, and it's interesting because then you have the markets hanging on every word, right? So sometimes I just wonder, is the Fed even being really totally honest with what they're anticipating, or are they in this funky game with the markets to try and just manage people, like the market's expectation? Because the interesting thing is the Fed's always looking backwards. They're looking at data going backwards. But the markets are always looking forward. And so there's this weird push and pull there. And I just, if the Fed, even if the Fed thought they were going to stop increases right now, or they thought that they were actually going to be able to decrease interest rates later this year, if they said that, it's just going to send the market into just an absolute tailspin. And I think the Fed just doesn't really want to see that happening. So there's just such a weird game that's being played with literally every single word and all these announcements and everything. So just a thought, I pay attention to this. So does everyone else in the mortgage business. So does everyone else even thinking about being in the housing market. So all these things are super relevant. But it's just interesting because, you got to wonder, here's what we know is the Fed is going to react to whatever news happens. If suddenly, get into whatever, call it Q3 of this year, all of a sudden it looks like the markets, we're dumping into a recession, so it's going to be a hard landing. You know what they're going to do? They're going to drop rates, right? So anyway, we'll continue to kind of keep an eye on this, but I think, all of my predictions staying the same. I still think we're going to see a drop in interest rates. I think we're beyond peak inflation, so beyond peak inflation leads to a drop in interest rates. We'll see what happens, but that's where my head is. Hopefully so, because we need these volumes to start picking up. We need to get some people back into this market and get some people buying real estate. So I'm Bill with Franklin Loan Center. If you need anything, let me know. Real estate wise or mortgage wise, love to help out. And I'll see y'all next week.